G'day guys, hola, my name is Wildkard. Yes, Scotland versus Argentina. This is probably one of the most painful games that the Scottish fans at Murrayfield had to witness so far this year. I guess the new season is starting for the Six Nations for the Scotland side. But boy, this was just, I mean, first up, outstanding performance by the Argentinians. I thought when I looked at the players' announcement, I thought Argentina looked a little bit light in the 9 and 10 channel, but I thought the rest of the team was going to be okay. Still quite an experienced, well-rounded team around the 9 and 10, the relatively new 9 and 10 combo. So obviously, they didn't have Albernos or Carreras. Carreras was on the bench. And then they've got, what's the name? Garcia? Is it him? Garcia? Gonzalo Garcia, I think it was. Not a 9 as well. So both of these guys are quite new. I'm pretty sure this might be the first game for the 10. But yeah, both of the guys are relatively new to the Argentinian side. I didn't think that was going to be much of an issue because everyone around the Argentinian side was pretty solid players. But yeah, turned out that was the big difference for the side. There's a disconnect of how the attack wants to be done, and then there's a disconnect of I guess the instruction. There's literally lack a little leadership to take there's a decision-making hesitation on the field for the Argentinians to take what's in front of them for the entire duration of the first half. And on the other hand, the Argentinians failed to apply pressure to Finn Russell. Yeah, literally like the worst, the biggest mistakes anybody can make against the Scotland side. Finn Russell is one of the players who are absolutely incredible. Best in the world if you don't apply pressure to him. He's an absolute magician. And if you give him space, give him time, and especially if he gets into that rhythm, that confidence, he's riding on his own, his own confidence, his own, small wins, he builds up to become basically an unstoppable monster out there on the field. So the Scotland team was comfortable winning, 14 points to nil at halftime, and then immediately scoring as well in the second half, 21 points to nil, before Argentina finally decided to put on 6 changes off the bench. And then I thought this was probably a bit too late. 21 points down. It still got, less than 40 minutes to play. But I thought this was probably a bit too late. But man, Santiago Carreras, obviously, this guy has been, one of the most talented guys came through for the Argentinian side. He's someone who started off as a fullback and then moved to the 10. And now he's basically covering the whole backline as just the playmaker, and then moves between the two positions with quite a bit of ease. And his goal kicking as well. Originally, I'm pretty sure when he started, wasn't that great. Other players had to do the kicking for him. So you've seen players like Malia doing the kicking in the past. But Carreras has taken over that kicking duty as well, just completely taking his game to another level. This guy, he's single-handedly coming onto the field, won the game for Argentina tonight. That's how good of a performance this was. This was probably the best performance out of an Argentinian player for 40 minutes I've ever seen. This was absolutely insane. He was able to make quick decisions, spot gaps and opportunities in front of him, and basically make, direct instructions to the players around him to find those gaps and picking out the options, picking out the good runners. Just absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. And just like he used the players around him just like weapons, right? Sometimes they say, don't blame the tools. A good craftsman can use whatever tools given to them, and they will make a good, a good product. And he's kind of like that. He used the players around him to much better effect. Not to bash the players starting, to much better effect than we saw it in the first half. And just, it's a completely different team. And Pablo Matera as well, coming off more leadership, probably a bit more oomph and a bit more physicality as well up front. Just incredible from the Argentina. So I didn't think the team could do it. I was like, well, this is just going to be a blowout for the Scotland side. And man, I was wrong. Kinghorn had a yellow card for a cynical killing of the ball after one of the Argentinian breaks in the second half. Forced professional foul. Went off for 10 minutes, and Argentina scored 2 tries in that period as well. Just, really painful stuff. And Scotland never really regained that momentum once they lost it, with the Kinghorn going over into the bin. I don't know. The leadership, again, I'm pretty sure is it Tuipulotu the captain for Scotland side? I think one of the Scottish. Yeah, Tuipulotu is the captain for the Scotland side. But yeah, it's just like, it is one thing to have your team, scoring points, but when it's another thing to lead a team when it's winning. It's another thing to really pull your team out of the ditch, out of the hole when it's when you're out of when you lose that momentum, we're in a bit of trouble. And not saying that Tuipulotu didn't try, but sometimes yes, a smart penalty, potentially in the right positions, baiting the Argentinians to take a kick instead of going for the try. It's something that we saw in Richie McCoy in the past. Will be a good time to utilize some of those strategies to try to slow that momentum down a little bit and try to maybe relinquish 3 points, and then just really get your team together and just try to settle the nerves a little bit. And the nerves, the scramble defense, which just never really looked as a complete package once Argentina was on the roll. And this was pretty painful if you are a Scottish fan. But yeah, if you look at the positives, you had a really, really clinical first half. The forwards were dominant. The scrum was pretty decent as well, despite having a relative newer props on the field. And and overall, Finn Russell looked like a magician out there without the pressure on him. So yeah, let me know your thoughts if you're a Scottish fan, and let me know your reactions if you are an Argentinian fan. I think this is just outstanding performance from Argentina as well. Another thing I think is really important to note that the Argentinians had a bit of a struggle to finish the game strong against the Wallabies, in the rugby championship, in the middle of the rugby championship, right? So they actually made an effort to make their second half strong. And I think what a way to make a statement that they've made their second half strong this week. They basically went from losing the second half against the Wallabies, 2 games, in fact, losing one of the matches completely because the last minute try, to barely holding on in the second test, to coming out and then to getting destroyed by the Springboks in the first test, and to almost coming back themselves in a bit of a comeback miracle against the Springboks in the second test, right? And then go on to kind of just build from that, right? Against Wales last week, they again, pretty even for the first half, really made a statement in the second half to put away. And this game probably emphatically show their intent in making, improving on that second half performance and really taking a step forward as a team. And I think Filippo Cantopone, struggled with a number of heart attacks in the first half, but he'll be pretty happy with the players pulling out that result in the second half. Scotland, on the other hand, I think their ability to finish strong in the second half has always been a bit of an issue. Always been a bit of an issue. It's always kind of, the discussion has always been the Scotland don't really have the depth to bring out a tier 1, an equally talented bench. But you just have to keep at it. Like, if you look at a Scotland team, Finn Russell retires, who's next? You're going to put a Kinghorn at 10 for a while, right? Like, there's a lot of things that the succession plans of the Scotland team is not really being ironed out in some key positions. And I think that, it's one thing to hang on and be heroic and try to, to have a really, really good starting 15. But nowadays, it is more and more important to also have a good, finishing 8 off the bench. And I think Scotland, you need to, Gregor Townsend really have to start digging deep into some of the talent pools to try to bring players through in that second tier. It's starting to get to the point where some of the players are becoming irreplaceable in the Scotland side. And when that happens, you're up to, it's always one of the things where if a few players don't perform, suddenly you don't have any, you just gone. You don't have anyone else to come on to make a difference, to make an impact, to change up the style a little bit. I think this has been a plaguing issue for Scotland side for a number of years now, not just in this one game, a number of years. We see that in the Six Nations as well. Scotland come out literally every year. They will win the Calcutta Cup and then just fall off a cliff, right? Because they haven't got because, for whatever reason, player getting tired, mentally tired, physically tired. It's just not able to maintain that level that we know that Scotland team can play on a consistent basis. So anyway, moving on, let's have a look at the start of the game. 3 tries for Scotland to Argentina 5. let's just do this again. Make sure that everything is settled. 398 meters to 590. It might change because the thing's updating sometimes. 134 carries for Scotland, 165 for Argentina, 22 defending beatings for Scotland, 28 for Argentina. A lot of these are in the second half as well. 11 turnovers considered for Scotland. Argentina actually conceded more turnovers, 16, and they're still able to pull out in the second half. That just shows you how much they capitalize on the opportunities in the second half. 224 tackles made for Scotland, 28 missed tackles, 161 tackles made for Argentina, 22 missed tackles, 28 kicks in play for Scotland, 19 for Argentina. Really wasn't interested in losing the kicking game for quite a lot of the game. 2 penalty goal misses as well, 1 conversion miss for Argentina, 672 kicks for Scotland, 511 for Argentina there as well. Lineouts, 4 lineouts for Scotland, 2 lost. Argentina 7, 4 lost. Pretty bad for all. The referee was a little bit clinical. One of the things where closing the gap early. So a lot of times, there was a couple of times when Argentina kind of just moved in before the ball was thrown to close the gap on their own throw. And then the referee short arm a couple of those times. So interesting to see that, but it is technically not allowed. And we'll see if the referee will hammer down on that in future games. Scrums, quite even overall. I thought Argentina probably on paper had a better scrum, but yeah, it was pretty even overall. The Scottish team did pretty well without Xander Fagerson out there tonight. 10 penalties considered for Scotland, 1 yellow card for Kinghorn, 5 penalties considered Argentina, 1 yellow card to who was it? Was it a professional foul as well? I actually can't remember. That was in the first half maybe. But yeah, I think it was in the first half. But yeah, anyway, so 1 yellow card each team, but Argentina overall much better discipline, especially in the second half. The Scotland team was just falling apart a little bit in that discipline front as well, giving the Argentinians free opportunities to attack the try line with impunity. So yeah, let's do a quick recap of the game and finish off this review. So yeah, it took about 13 minutes for the Scotland team. So 4 minutes was when the yellow card occurred for Argentina. There was a deliberate knock on by Malia on a try scoring opportunity. And some people will probably argue that this could have been a penalty try because the number 8 from Argentina was pretty close to the offload. That was basically Darcy Graham trying to offload to one of the runners. And the number 8 was there, but it was pretty far away. If you look at one of the camera angles, it was literally like 3, maybe even more, 2-3 meters apart. So, and number 8 is not going to be able to catch up to a winger in that situation. So, I thought there could have been a penalty try, but the referee said the number 8 wasn't close enough to not give it a penalty try. So, regardless, with the play in the bin, Scotland kept on building. There was a nice little backdoor play, a flat ball to. So, Finn Russell did this thing where he was looking at someone behind him, so it looked like he was going to do a deep pass, but then he just put a flat to the decoy of Jack Dempsey, just ran straight through for the try. 7 points to 0. 27 minutes in it again. Ewan Ashman again, Scotland pounding into the Argentina 22. Ewan Ashman gets the crash ball. He's spun around in a nice angle, went in for the try. 14 points to 0. Under the pumps, Argentina tried to take it 3 points. This was 31 minutes in, and they missed. Yeah, it was not good. So halftime score, 14 points to 0. There was no reprieve for Argentina at all. Second half, Argentina was under the pumps again early inside their own 22. They had a penalty for basically a high shot. An illegal clean out. So Argentina tried to clear this ball out, and they failed to find touch. Yeah, and then Scotland counterattacked, got back into the 22, and then just kept on pounding, and eventually Ewan Ashman again gets the offload, crashed himself over for the try. 21 points to 0. Yeah, Argentina was just punching themselves in the gut there, and then after this, Felipe Condopome just started sending on the bench. 6 players came on, 45 minutes on the clockish, and then basically Argentina tried to wrestle back the momentum. So 54 minutes, Scotland still had all the momentum on their side. They were just camped inside Argentina 22, and then there was a 95-meter run from an intercept from might have been Carreras, but yeah, there was a poor pass from from Finn Russell, he went to the ground, and Argentina just ran like 95 meters, but really close. And then during this 95-meter run, Kinghorn deliberately slowed the ball down. It was literally, you can see it, it was like just numbers everywhere, and the ball couldn't come out of the ruck. And then the Kinghorn slowed it down illegally, gets sent off, yellow card. And then after this, 56 minutes, Argentina, gets backed themselves to go for the try. They kicked out from the line out. Number of crash balls later, Junior Montea crashed over. He was short, but he's allowed to place the ball. So he reached out, placed the ball over. 21 points to 7. 59 minutes in the game. Again, Santiago Carreras was... what happened here? Yeah, Santiago Carreras was finding a lot of space was picking the right options, being the playmaker in the team. He found Isco through a little gap. I think what happened anyway. There was I think there was some. Anyway, Argentina made Santiago Carreras found some space. Argentina, nice break, got pretty close. More crash balls coming in, and Isco eventually gets went for the short side, crashed in for the try. The breakdown once Santiago Carreras came on was much faster as well with the full momentum. So he kind of like snowballing effect with Carreras quicker in the decision making and making those the gangs over the vantage line, and then quicker around the breakdown as well, follows through by the Argentinian team to get this momentum going forward. So 21 points to 14. Suddenly the Scottish team is starting sweating a little bit. 63 minutes in, there was another penalty to Scotland. 40 minutes out, Kinghorn still in the bin. Smart to run the clock out a little bit. They kicked this one 24 points to 12. But sure enough, even with Kinghorn back onto the field, the momentum was not able to be wrestled back. 69 minutes, more pressure for Argentina, more penalty advantage. Argentina went for went for a tap and go for a penalty, and then just rolled their sleeves up. And Rubiolo crashed over for the try. 24 points to 19, missed the conversion here. 74 minutes, Santiago Carreras once again. He was on the sideline. He must have had like a meter of space on the side, and he popped the ball to what is it called? To Mateo Carreras. Ran down the sideline, cut back in field. Again, this must have gone like 50, 60 meters before it was tackled inside the 22. And then Argentinians just start piling in. And then eventually, Pablo Mostert crashed over, dots the ball down the line before he knocked the ball on for the try. 24 points to 26. Argentina sneaks back ahead. There's still 5 minutes left. The Scotland could still win this with any sort of penalty or score. But no, Scotland was not able to make the right decisions. Kicking the ball away was probably not very smart. And then Argentina just, start camping inside the Scotland half. There was a nice little grubber kick forcing Scotland to do their own line-out throw, and then it got turned over at the breakdown. And then Argentina just start pounding. The ball went wide. Picardo just crashed over a couple of soft shoulders and then went in for the try. And a bunch of missed tackles there. Really painful. 24 points to 33. Carrera slides this one from the sideline as well, just to add in, just rub salt into the wound. So yeah, really, really nice. And Argentina firmly looking like they're going to be in top 6 at this point. And Scotland, will be in the tier 2 band, letting themselves down a little bit, especially at home at Murrayfield. They lost to Fiji as well earlier this year, so their Rugby World ranking has tanked quite a bit as a result. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys later for the next week. In a couple of days for the rugby news. Thanks for watching. Cheers.